Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I just wanted to share with you guys a bunch of pops that I've got recently. For whatever reason, I picked up a ton of pops from eBay recently, and a lot of stores have been getting exclusives, and just wanted to share it with you guys. So first off, we'll start off with some box lunch exclusives. First, we have the flocked Grumpy Bear. Funny enough, I was anticipating this one for a while, even though I don't collect Care Bears or anything, and even as a kid, I wasn't like super into Care Bears, but for whatever reason, I just thought this one was pretty cool. Because I always liked the variants. So Grumpy Bear himself, I thought was a pretty cool idea as a character, just because Care Bears usually you expect to be happy or like friendly, but he's Grumpy Bear. And obviously the exclusive is the flocked version. Originally, this was supposed to be a Toys R Us exclusive, but due to Toys R Us going out of business, it became a box lunch exclusive. And funny enough, at some of the figures that I saw in the store, they had like sticker residue. So, that's where they peeled out the Toys R Us sticker and slapped on the box lunch exclusive. I don't know if you could see any of the residue here, but on some it was pretty obvious, which was kind of interesting. Alright, next we got the green metallic army man. And as you can see, this is a box lunch exclusive as well. And this was I guess to celebrate the opening of Toy Story Land in Walt Disney World. Now, when I first heard about this one, I wasn't super stoked just because I picked up the Spring Convention Army Man, which was a box lunch exclusive. And that one was just like kind of like a matte, kind of like not shiny, but kind of bright green, I guess you could say. Well, this is kind of like the more metallic one. I do have all these ones as well from the re-release. I actually passed on Ham for whatever reason, which I regret now because now that's the only one I'm missing in the set. Um, yeah, so that's kind of a issue. I wouldn't say issue, but for whatever reason, sometimes I'll pass on figures and later come to regret it. And that's definitely one I'm regretting right now because I think he goes for about 20 bucks or so, which isn't too bad, but if I would have just bought him, because I had plenty of chances to buy him, then I wouldn't have to worry about it, and I'd have the whole set. Anyways, still think this one's pretty cool. I'm just, I just kind of wish they didn't release like another one already when they released one not too long ago of the same figure. Let's see. Next, I'll go with the Hot Topic exclusive. Right here we have the Chrome Jack Jack. Now this one was really cool, in my opinion. I managed to get this one online, so I didn't have to like hunt it in store or get there super early. But I was kind of surprised by the demand for this one because I did end up going to the store anyways, just like a little later. I didn't go early, and they ran out of them. So luckily I got them online, but it was pretty in demand. And as you can see, his head or whatever is like reflective in chrome, which is really cool. I remember when they posted the glams of this one, and like you know, people assumed it should be chrome, but like kind of the figure they ended up posting was kind of like a matte, like silverish color, and people were kind of like taken aback and by that and saying like it didn't really look good. And interestingly enough, those ones have like resurfaced, like I think from in Mexico. You could look into it if you want, but some people think that maybe Funko made that first batch, like, in production, and once they got all the negative feedback, they kind of dumped them off to another retailer in another country and it made these chrome ones. So just kind of an interesting story about that. And next we'll continue with Jack Jack, and we have Monster Jack Jack. I was looking forward to this one for a long time, and unfortunately I missed out just because I didn't set my alarm. That's another thing. I'll give you guys a tip right now. Funko Shop, they usually release new items every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. I was aware of that they would release them weekly, but I remember in the past it used to be like 10 a.m. or something Pacific time, and I would just check it out like at work or something. But I haven't been keeping up with it too much, so I wasn't sure what time. So that's how I missed out on this one, because I didn't know like it was the same time every week, and I was like probably like 40 minutes late when they sold out in like 30 minutes. So I was pretty bummed about that. I did end up having to buy it on eBay. Bought it for like 30 bucks, I think, which isn't like too horrible because if at Funko Shop, they usually sell their exclusives for 15, and the shipping is pretty expensive. I think like 6 or 7 bucks, and with tax, I think this figure would have came out to 22 or 23. So I paid a little bit more, like 6, 7 bucks, to get it on eBay, which isn't horrible, but ideally I'd be getting this um, at retail, or for as cheap as I can get it. As you can see, the box does have some damage. The seller did, I did buy a pre-order from the seller, so once the seller got it in, they did message me to let me know. But, um, I'm an inbox collector, and I do prefer like mint boxes or whatever. But obviously, I don't blame the seller at all, because as you can tell, like this was obviously Funko's fault. There's a lot of backlash and criticism from the community about how they ship these out, because they ship these out in just like the standard little cardboard box, like the tiny little cardboard box that covers this, and that's it. They slap the label on that, and that's how they ship these out. And for the price they were charging, you'd expect them to put a lot better care into their shipping. So thankfully for the next one, that next pop that Funko released, they changed their shipping method. It's just a shame that all these monster Jack Jacks had to get like ruined due to the negligent shipping. Anyways, this pop's pretty cool. Um, Let me just show you guys the other Jack Jack exclusive I have. If you haven't seen it already, here it is. Fire Jack Jack from Target. And obviously they have like the 4 Jack Jacks exclusives. The other one is the FYE exclusive, and that's just kind of like the plain Jack Jack, where he just looks like a baby in a diaper. I did want to get that one, but I wasn't super, hunting for it, because when I went online, FYE. This is what I hate about FYE, but all their exclusives automatically go for 15 bucks, which is like the most expensive out of any of the other stores. Like Target, their exclusives are the same price as the commons, $8.99. Same thing as Hot Topic. They're $12.50, which is like higher on average than usual for any pop, but they usually have deals like 3 for 27, and their exclusives are the same price as a common, which is pretty good. Anyways, the shipping was kind of expensive on FYE, so for 15 plus like $6 shipping was like $21 for that Jack Jack. So I was kind of holding out, which I did regret eventually because he sold out online. There is an FYE kind of close to me. I want to say maybe there used to be one maybe about like 45 minutes away, but it closed down. So the next closest one is about an hour away. And then I did go there, but obviously they sold out. Where I live is a high populated area, so they ended up running out of the exclusive Jack Jack. So I was a little bummed out, but I did pick one up like literally just the other day for like 18 shipped off eBay, so not too bad. So pretty much what I would have paid, or less than what I would have paid, um, to get it shipped to me from FYE directly, and it's about what I would have paid if I had bought it in the store. So not too bad. Pretty happy about that. Just waiting on it in the mail. All right, so here I'll just show you. This is the box that they shipped the Jack Jack in, or the type of box. Just the outer box, no protection or anything, which is pretty lame on Funko's part. But I'm glad that they corrected it. So this pop, I think went up like 2 weeks later, and I had heard about this one, and I'm sure everyone like me was anticipating it. So super stoked to get this one. Apparently they were like 15,000 or something. I could be wrong, but apparently it sold out within like 5 minutes, which is, pretty crazy for that quantity. Because usually, that quantity will go slower, but obviously, like Infinity War is like one of the biggest movies. I don't want to say ever, but like, it's just a huge blockbuster and everyone's into it. So this figure was pretty in demand. And as you can see, or about to see, this figure is like in pristine condition. Stonekeeper, aka Red Skull. And props to Funko for working on their shipping, because this box, or this came shipped how it was supposed, like how Pop should be shipped, with the protective box, and then like kind of like the plastic bubble or whatever, and supporting it inside another box. So it's just a shame that Funko didn't ship Monster Jack Jack like that too, and so many Monster Jack Jacks had to get messed up. But at least they corrected it for this one, because if they messed up the shipping for Stonekeeper, they would have had some major backlash. Because just imagine how mad people would be if all these Stonekeepers were getting messed up. You can see there it says Funko Shop Limited Edition. Pretty cool. Alright, let's keep it rolling. A lot of these next ones are commons, but I've actually learned a pretty good lesson for me, but I kind of had to learn it the hard way. Just because for a long time I would like focus on exclusives, just because they're harder to find. Not just because of that, but I wouldn't put as much attention on the commons, because I'd just be like, oh, I could get that later, or they're just commons. There's plenty of them. I should just like, I'll pick it up another time. But kind of a hard lesson I've learned is that if you obviously, yeah, you should put more attention on exclusives, because they're harder to find. And like, if you don't get on them right away, it's harder to get them later. But the same can be said for commons, because if you sleep too long on commons, excuse me, if you sleep too long on commons, those are gonna go up in price and just become more scarce also. So, um, anyways, I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. So, first common we have that I got from this recent eBay like Father's Day sale or whatever with the coupon code is Jon Snow. And funny enough, well, obviously, or I guess not obviously, but I am a huge Game of Thrones fan. But for whatever reason, I didn't pick up. This is my first Jon Snow, and I watched the series since like I want to say since season 2 came out. That's when I watched season 1 and got caught up. But I was a huge fan of the series, but for whatever reason, I never picked up Jon Snow. I mean, obviously he's like one of the main characters of the show, and that's kind of a regret that I have now, is that I slept so long on all these commons, because not necessarily these commons, but ones before that, because they go for a pretty penny right now, and I just slept on them for whatever reason. I was like, they're just commons, or But I learned that for whatever fandom, like big fandom there is, there's people out there who really like will pay a good amount to get the whole set, or just to get the older ones. So kind of bummed out that I missed out on some of these older ones. These are like the newer ones, but that's besides the point. I'm just glad to have a Jon Snow right now, regardless of value or anything. I was like, wait a second, like you're a huge fan of this show and you don't have Jon Snow. That doesn't make any sense. That is a problem I have. I tend to pick up like side characters more for whatever reason than the main character. I'll show you some of that in a bit. Anyways, right here we got Ned Stark, another one that I didn't pick up for a while. This one's still plentiful for whatever reason. I think this is like series 1. He still goes for like $7-8, but I'm sure he's like a lot of fans' favorite, as well as mine. So I don't know why he's like so common. Maybe they just made a ton of him because he's like a popular character, but I'm glad they did because, it's not just about scarcity. Like, a cool character is a cool character, and this pop was pretty well done. You can see on the back here some of the older ones. See, it says edition 1. I think the Hound goes for a good amount right now, so pretty bummed that I didn't pick him up because I remember seeing him like a long time ago, like in Hot Topics and stuff, and I like the Hound, but I just never picked him up for whatever reason. And that's a pretty cool pop right there. Honestly, I'm very happy with this one. Let's see. Now we'll be getting into some. Let's do the Incredibles. I showed in my other video. I showed you guys some of my like Target exclusive ones or whatever, but I did end up picking up the rest of them, the commons. I actually am missing just one right now, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of a bad habit of mine. I just always leave one for last for whatever reason, but I'll get to that in a bit. So here we have Dash. So I just didn't want to sleep on these for too long because I figured even though they're commons, you know, eventually they'll stop producing them and they'll be harder to find. So I figured if I want them, might as well just get them now. And I think I got these for mostly about $8 a pop after the coupon code or whatever, so not too bad. And then taking into account what I would have had to pay in like tax and stuff, and my time just to go to all the different stores, and not bad to get this shipped for about $8 each. Here we have Frozone. This one's a really cool pop. Honestly, I think this is one of my favorites from the Incredibles line. You can see that he has that like kind of ice that he's shooting out. And even though this is a common, like, in my opinion, this could be like a store exclusive. You can even see like he's kind of like balancing on like a little like shield type thing. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's like just something, some little platform that he's balancing on while he's shooting out the ice slash water, water ice. So a really cool pop. And here we have Mr. Incredible. They did release, this is a re-release. They released the older versions of I think Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, aka Elastigirl. And this is like for the Incredibles 2. And those go for a lot of money, along with Syndrome and Edna Mode. But I was just happy to get this version of him too. I mean, I don't have the original version, but I was happy to get this version of him at least. Okay, and then we got Screenslaver, the villain of the movie. What's kind of funny is I was waiting on this one. This is the one I was supposed to be waiting on. The eBay listing that I was looking at, it said Screenslaver in the description and the title, but the picture was of Underminer. And Underminer's a little harder to find than Screenslaver, so I just took a chance. I was like, it's like a little cheaper. I'll just get this Underminer. It did turn out to actually be Screenslaver, so I still am on the hunt for Underminer, and I just gotta remind myself not to wait too long. There you can see the rest of the line. I did wonder why they didn't make this one glow, because it seems like, pretty obvious, like it would look really cool if his eyes were glowing, and like it literally looks like it glows already. So I'm surprised that they just didn't make him glow already, or make a store exclusive version where he does glow. Okay, next we have another Hot Topic exclusive. This is the Steve with bandana from Stranger Things. I thought this one was really cool when I saw it. I did miss out on the convention exclusive Steve where he has like the bat, and it's kind of funny because um, I saw them. They were at my Hot Topic or whatever They were at a few Hot Topics, like in my area, and after the convention, after the initial wave that everyone had picked out all the stuff, and for whatever reason, like at the time, I didn't feel like picking him up, and he ended up skyrocketing in price. I think that one goes for like $100 or something now. So definitely regret not picking him up when I had the chance. But luckily I did. I was able to pick up this guy, which obviously isn't as valuable, but really cool pop nonetheless. Oh, I got a few more Hot Topic exclusives to show you guys. Here we go. We got Powerline from the Goofy movie. When I heard about this pop, I was so excited. Like couldn't wait. This is one of my most anticipated pops because it's just childhood for me. Excuse me. It's just childhood, and I think that's what Funko is tapping into for a lot of these, just like those childhood memories. Like, oh, or if you watch South Park, it's member berries. Like, oh, I remember that. It's like, yeah, I remember this, and just can't resist. I really hope that they do end up making more of the Goofy movie pops, like not just Powerline. Like, I want to see Max. I want to see Goofy in his fishing gear. Pete, PJ. Um, I don't remember his name, but that character who's basically like Pauly Shore, and he like always eats the cheese, squirts the cheese. Um, I don't know if they will make them, but they should at least make Max and Goofy. It's kind of funny how they made Powerline but didn't make those yet, but hope those are on the way. Um, let's see. Got a few more Hot Topic exclusives. Once again, tapping into that childhood thing. I was super stoked to see these, that they were coming out. We got Quail Dog, Quail Man. Once again, tapping into that childhood thing. I think Doug was honestly one of my favorite cartoons growing up. I remember when I was a little kid, I didn't have like cable, and then like maybe when I was like 6 or 7, we ended up getting cable, so I would just constantly watch Nickelodeon. And Rugrats I enjoyed, but I guess it was a little too. I enjoyed it, but it was a little too kiddie for me. So Doug was like, that was my guy, because he's kind of like, I guess, a middle schooler or whatever, which I was too. Or maybe I was a little younger, but I could just relate more to it. Interestingly enough, as you can see, it says Disney on the top, and that's because technically these are from the Disney version, which I guess ran on ABC. I remember it wasn't as cool, like watching it as a kid, and I didn't enjoy it as much. I remember when I heard that Doug was coming back on ABC/Disney or whatever, I was super excited, but it did turn out to be a little bit of a disappointment. But at least with these pops, you honestly can't even tell. Like, to me, these are the Nickelodeon Doug, like Quail Man and Quail Dog. You can see that they pretty much look the same here on the back too, but you can tell it is from the ABC/Disney series because Patty Mayonnaise has a like shorter hair, because in the Nickelodeon version her hair was different. Anyways, just wanted to show that to you guys. Alright, let's keep it rolling. Next we got some Winnie the Pooh pops. I do have the, I think, locked Hot Topic exclusive Winnie the Pooh. Probably should have got it for this video, but too many pops. I can't dig them all out. This is gonna take too long, anyways. This video is getting pretty long as it is. But here we got Eeyore. You can see the rest of them on the back. I passed on the Heffalump and Woozle. To me, they're not really like. I wouldn't say they're not main characters, but at least from my generation. I just remember watching the Saturday morning cartoons, so Rabbit, Owl, Gopher. To me, those are like the main ones that go along with these guys too, like Roo and Kanga and all that stuff. Anyways, here's just a regular Eeyore. I passed on this one for a while just because I knew that they had like a flocked version and like I think a purple version from Barnes and Noble, but kind of learned my lesson. Just like pick up the commons. Like it doesn't matter. You don't always have to have like the variant or whatever. Sometimes just like the regular one's cool too. So I did get Eeyore. And we got Piglet. Pretty cute actually. And then I ended up picking up one more common from this Winnie the Pooh line. Brew. Super cute one. Really cool one. Glad to have this one. And once again, that same issue has come up. As you can see, you know, I have all the ones I won, but obviously there's like one, I guess you could call main character missing. And this time it's Tigger. I think Tigger, there was a Tigger that was like a convention exclusive, so I might be on the lookout for that one. I know they have an old one that's like super expensive too, but you know, kind of a bummer that you know there's always one that's like missing for whatever reason. At least in my collection. I guess just there's so many that it's hard to keep up and get every single one, but sometimes you just do need that extra one just to complete the set. Alright, let's continue with that theme of childhood cartoons. Right here, we got Launchpad McQuack. Well, I was pretty stoked to get this one. I've been eyeing it for a while. Unfortunately, this one did come like pretty damaged, as you can see. I usually don't complain to sellers or whatever about damage. Maybe I should, but to me it's just too much of a hassle. But you know, I did get this one for pretty cheap. I think he was like $6 or $7 originally, and then with that like 20% off from the Father's Day coupon, plus like 5% cash back, whatever. I think he ended up being like $5 or $6. So the figure itself looks really cool. I remember him being like, you know, like a funny like sidekick or whatever. And it's funny how he crosses over in DuckTales and Darkwing Duck, because this is from Darkwing Duck. But happy to have this figure. And just I want to say boo to you sellers who ship these things in like bubble envelopes or whatever. That's how this one came. I think that's like the laziest shipping you can do for a pop. Just stick it in a bubble mailer. You know, at least when I saw it, when I felt the package, I thought, oh, you know, this is like the outside box, like I showed you the Stonekeeper or whatever. And then I thought that was inside the bubble mailer, but no, it was just this pop right in the bubble mailer. So he ended up getting damaged, but you know, I'm still happy with it. Not like I'm happy with the pop, not super happy with how it arrived, but you know, whatever. Alright, continuing with the cartoon theme. Right here, another common, George Jetson. I was kind of on the fence of like, you know, whether I should start picking these up. You can see there's only 3 in the line right now. They have George, Astro, and Rosie. I was a pretty big fan of the Jetsons. I thought it was super cool how it was all futuristic and in space. And I just felt like the design of these pops was really cool. I feel like the design is like a little bit different than some of the pops you see. It kind of retains that older kind of like 60s, I guess, style, 60s, 70s style, like in the figure. So I couldn't pass it up. If they do release the rest of the family, like Jane, Judy, Elroy, Mr. Spacely, I'm definitely gonna have to pick those up. I think especially Elroy. I remember liking Elroy a lot as a kid. You know, since I was a little boy and he was a little boy. Alright, as you saw in the back, the box, here we have the actual figure. We have Rosie. I was debating, you know, maybe not getting Rosie or something, maybe just getting Astro and George, but it's one of those things too. It's like, I already have 2, might as well just get all of them. Rosie's cool too, don't get me wrong, this is a really cool figure, but, you know, it wasn't my favorite as a kid. Then Astro, for sure was gonna get this one. It looks really cool. Kind of that thing, same thing as like the Flintstones. Flintstones had Dino, kind of like the same family Like, you know, one I remember they had that crossover episode. It was like Flintstones meet the Jetsons. I thought that was pretty funny when I was a kid. Alright, I guess we'll continue with that cartoon theme. Right here we have the chef from Monsters Inc. Pretty cool figure, really cool figure. I guess they call it Harryhausen's, the restaurant where the chef works. He's pretty much just called Chef. Pardon me, but it's pretty cool. An octopus in a sushi restaurant. That's pretty funny. So I did end up getting this whole set. You can see Roz. This is really cool pop too. That's what I'm saying. Like they stepped up their games with these commons. Like even though they're commons, these figures are really cool. Like really detailed. I remember it's just funny. If you guys have been to Disneyland, they have Roz in the ride, and then she'll like talk to you at the end. And it's like I think they have like some special buttons they press, but she'll make like little comments about you as you exit the ride. So it's pretty funny. Finally, we have Boo. This figure is really cool as well. They did a really good job with this one, this line of commons. I know they had some older versions, but with these figures that they made, they did a really good job with the re-release or whatever you want to call it. As you can see, here's the whole line. Pardon me. You can see they're solely on there too. I've been waiting because I know there's a flocked version. He was supposed to come out at Toys R Us, but you know Toys R Us went out of business, so I think it did become a Hot Topic exclusive. But just waiting on that one. I don't know when it's going to be released, but for sure gonna pick that one up. I don't have the original Micro Soli or anything. It's pretty cool. You can see she has that little doll in the figure too. I didn't pick up any of the originals, but I did get the Monster U ones. I have the Randall and the Mike from Monsters U, and it's only two, but I don't have it with me. I think it's at like my girlfriend's old house or something, somewhere in storage. But for sure, I have those other two in my own storage. Need to find where that Soli Monsters U went. When. All right, we're getting down to the last few pops I'm gonna share with you guys. Thanks for watching. I know this can be kind of long, but hope you guys are enjoying it. As I mentioned, you know, the main characters. Futurama, we have Fry right here. I honestly can't believe that I just picked this guy up because a long time ago when these pops came out, I was like, you know, I was, you know, obviously super into it because, you know, I enjoy Futurama, but I was super excited to get like Nibbler. I think my favorites I really wanted to get were Nibbler, Zap Brannigan, and then I did end up getting Zoidberg as well, and Professor Farnsworth. I pretty much ended up getting all the ones but the main characters, which is sometimes what I do. I don't know why, but finally got Fry for I think for about $8. Not too bad. So lately, when I was looking through, I saw that Leela ended up being kind of expensive. So I went to a local comic store just by chance, not one I usually go to, and then coincidentally enough, just as I was telling like my girlfriend, like, oh, I missed out on Leela, and we just ended up having a lunch in like another town that we don't usually go to. They have a comic store there, and they had Leela, and I don't know if you guys can see, it's like right there. So it's $10.99, not a bad price. I think online if you try to get this, it might be like 18ish, maybe like $20. Or at least that's what it's looking like on eBay. So happy to get this guy or girl, I should say, this one. I am still missing like a few, or let's see. Obviously the Robot Devil I don't have, but that's okay. And you know the exclusives, but I'm not planning on getting those because they're like super expensive. I think they're like alternate universe, Fry and Leela, and then like the robot with the violin. So I'm just happy with the ones I have. And continuing off that, we have Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So we have Veruca Salt, which I picked up at that toy store or comic store as well. can see the rest on the back here. And this time I actually do have the some of my collection that I can share with you guys as well. I managed to dig them out and to show you guys. They were all scattered like around. Here we have my TV with a little version of my TV also. That's a really cool detail. These are like some of the, I guess you could say, more expensive, like common ones. Like they're not super expensive, but I think they go for like 20 bucks each or something. So happy to get these. Let me show you guys the rest. I remember picking this one up like right away. Not right away, but when they announced this line, I definitely had to get the Oompa Loompa. Even it just sounds funny saying that, Oompa Loompa. Oh, what the? I just realized there's a typo on this. Because as you can see, it says Oopma Loompa. And then right here on the back too, it says, can you guys see it? There's like some weird red tint. It's not really focused. Oh, there you go. Oop. No, that says Oompa Loompa. It says Oompa Loompa right here. It's kind of backwards, like due to the reverse or whatever, but it says Oompa Loompa right there, but on that one part it says Oopma Loompa. That's like Oops Malumpa. Anyways, there's only two on here in the back for some reason, but another lesson I'll have to learn. I'll talk about that in a bit. So I got Charlie Bucket right there with the golden ticket. I think I picked this one up during Hot Cash. Actually, I think that's what ended up happening for a lot of the pops that I missed out on, because like I used to only try to buy them during Hot Cash or whatever to get a deal. So it just depended on what they had in stock. So, you know, I didn't end up getting Willy Wonka himself, which I know was like ridiculous, but I think they didn't have them in stock at the time when I was buying using the Hot Cash, and I just kind of just let it go by and didn't really pay attention. And now I'm missing Willy Wonka. Finally, one more to show you guys. I was pretty stoked when I saw this one. It's a bit of an older one. Seems super old now, but honestly it's like 2 years old, which isn't that long, but it's the Violet Beauregard when she's like bloated and she eats like the little thing and gets like puffed up into like a blueberry. I thought this one was really cool. I think I picked this one up in store and Barnes & Noble the same day that they released the convention exclusives. You can see here it's a 2016 convention exclusive. So I wasn't originally planning to collect this whole line, but now I'm a few short. You can see on the back here, there are the rest of them. The ones I'm missing still, or I'm missing 3 of them. I'm missing Grandpa Joe, Augustus Gloop, and Willy Wonka. Grandpa Joe and Augustus Gloop, they had at the comic store that I picked those other 2 up at as well. But I wasn't super in a rush to get them just because, you know, they're pretty easy to find on eBay for about the same price as a common, so no big rush there. I know that's kind of my issue. I always say, oh, no big rush, then randomly something will like shoot up in price. But anyways, I wouldn't be too bummed if I don't get those for a while, but I do definitely regret not having Willy Wonka right now. I don't know when I'll pick it up, maybe sometime in the future, but you know, what can you do? Can't have it all. That's one thing that you always gotta remember. Like sometimes when you're collecting, you gotta, it's like Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Like all these variants. Like I got this much of the line, I gotta get the rest of the line, or like, you know, just this feeling of like, more, gotta get this. But sometimes if you take a step back and like, you know, like it's okay, you can't get everything. You know, it kind of helps. Anyways, that's my like recent mega haul or whatever you want to call it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.